Quebec. You're watching the Sports Network, coast to coast.
The opening race of the 1996 CASCAR Super Series, and this capacity Delaware Speedway crowd waits to see if the veterans Kerry Mix, Jack Monahan, or Dan Shurtleff can outgun the defending national champion Sean Dupuis. This is the Mopar 200 and the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup. Castrol, manufacturers of GTX, brought to you in part by Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice and Chrysler 5-star service. STP helps keep your car in STP shape. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco.
Hello everybody, I'm Pat Gonzalez and welcome to the first of our televised CASCAR Super Series races. What is CASCAR and where can you see these cars and drivers in action? Well, first of all, it's late model stock car racing on some of the best short track ovals and road courses in Canada. The cars have a tubular steel racing chassis with V8 powered race-ready engines in look-alike fiberglass bodies of the Dodge Avenger, Pontiac Grand Prix, Chevrolet Monte Carlo, and Ford Thunderbird. And this year we'll have 8 races for you from oval tracks and road courses in Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta. Last year, Sean Dupuis won the CASCAR National and Eastern Championship driving a Chevrolet Monte Carlo, and Calgary's Wade Lee was the Western champion in a Pontiac Grand Prix. So, Craig Hill, what was the story behind GM's dominance of a year ago?
Well, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that GM had a very good car in the Monte Carlo last year, Pat. They won not only in Winston Cup, but they won in CASCAR also. But you also, in fairness to the other manufacturers, Pat, you got to look at the lineup of top-line soldiers that they had in their camp last year. I mean, if it wasn't Sean Dupuis, it was Peter Gibbons or Alex Nagy or Kerry Mix or Duke Sawchuk or Wade Lee. I mean, if one of these guys fell by the wayside, or even 2 or 3 of them, there was always somebody wearing a bow tie ready to take their place at the front of the pack. Ford, on the other hand, showed that they had great speed. Paul Mathers qualified up front in the top 4 at every one of our televised nationals last year. They couldn't carry that momentum through to the checkered flag. Chrysler, for instance, is another whole story. Last year, they introduced the new Avenger to the CASCAR fans, and I guess you pretty well have to write off 95 as being a development year. But in my mind, they carried a few rules disadvantages last year that have been rectified for 96. Number 1, they carried a flywheel weight that was 15 pounds heavier than their competition. Now, 15 pounds when it rolls off the tongue doesn't sound like much, but 15 pounds at the flywheel is like 250 pounds off the car. What's going to happen this year is the cars are going to roll off the corners quicker, they're going to pick up their RPMs better, but more important than that, when they get to the other end of the racetrack, they're going to slow down a lot easier because the compression is going to help them. And with the very short track ovals that these CASCAR teams and drivers are going to be faced with throughout the 96 season, racing luck can play a big part in who's in the winner's circle, Pat.
Well, Craig, the one word we've heard around the racetrack here today, in fact all weekend, is that of parity, that all of the manufacturers have a car capable of winning, and I think the driver talent is more equally spread over the 3 manufacturers. Well, the first opportunity to test that theory of parity came in time trials earlier. Number 60, Ron Beauchamp in a Dodge Avenger set the early fast lap. However, that was eclipsed by number 7, Sean Dupuis in a Monte Carlo. Then late in the time trials, new Dodge Avenger driver number 97, Rob Neely, went 20.667 seconds to grab the provisional pole, and his time stood up until the last car to take the track. Number 10, Paul Mathers, blistered the Delaware Oval at a pole setting 20.551 seconds, just off the lap record. So the Mopar Fast 4 looks like this.
And a perfect way to start the season, Paul Mathers in the T-Bird with the pole position. Beside him on the front row is Rob Neely. Rob has switched from a Chevy to a Dodge in 96. Inside row 2 is Windsor's Sean Dupuis in a Chevy, and a well-known name in Canadian stock car racing, Ron Beauchamp Jr. completes the Mopar Fast 4.
That's Rob Neely in the Mac Tools Midas Avenger, and here's Chrysler's Roy Westlake with those long-awaited words.
Drivers, start your engine.
A big field of cars here today with 36 starters, and it's going to be hot in the cars. 28 degrees temperature outside, but the winds are really gusting, Pat, and the weatherman is calling for the possibility of tornadoes in the area.
Well, Craig, that has not stopped the fans from coming out. Tony Novotny, the president of CASCAR, has got to be pleased with the turnout here today as we look at the Chrysler Sebring pace car, and the field starts to roll on pit road. A great turnout of employees of Chrysler Canada on hand here this weekend. As we look at the starting grid for the Mopar 200, Mathers and Neely up front. Earl Ross and Kerry Mix, a couple of veteran drivers back there in row 3. There's Kelly Williams, qualified 10th, one of her best qualifying efforts. DJ Kennington back in the 14th starting position in the Dodge. Look for him to move up. Neil Fair in the Midas Monte Carlo back in 20th starting position. There's Bill Daniels and Don Thompson Jr. in Chevrolets back in the 13th row. Steve Smith, one of the rookie drivers, and Richard Beauchamp in a Ford from Quebec.
That's right, Pat. The CASCAR Super Series has attracted several competitors from other forms of racing. The 95 CASCAR Rookie of the Year, Robin Buck, in the SDP Pontiac, is a road racer. And number 31, Kelly Williams, our lone female racer, along with DJ Kennington, both had a chance to experience the super speedways this year by attending the Fast Track School in Charlotte.
Well, I think it's helped both drivers in qualifying. Here's Todd Lewis in the pits with an update.
Guys, a few things to watch for once we get started. Paul Mathers is very aggressive. He likes to come in really tight on turn 4. Now, if he leaves an opening, Rob Neely and Ron Beauchamp are going to go for the front right away. On the other hand, Sean Dupuis said he's going to hang back and see what develops.
Well, there's the capacity crowd here at Delaware Speedway saluting to the drivers as they roll here on these laps in preparation for the start of this 200-lap event. There you see Neely, number 97 in the Dodge Avenger. Mathers in that white number 10 Ford. Mathers coming up to speed as they roll off of turn number 10. Our tread cam off of turn 4, and there's Matt Lake with the green flag as the drivers hit the stripe into turn 1. Neely out in front. Oh, Neely goes sideways. There is Mathers. He just gets through on the inside. You're on board now with Junior Regan in the middle of this multi-car spin here right off the start. This will bring out our first yellow, Craig.
Well, here's a Mopar replay from Dan Shirtliff's car, Pat. The car in front of Regan touches Williams. Neely gets sideways, and it's everybody hitting the brakes, trying to avoid the car in front. I think that they went into the corner a little too hot with cold tires.
Well, we may see a situation here where Mathers may have got into the back of Neely just a little bit. They were running very close together, side by side into turn 1. Here is Sean Dupuis in the pits as the crew goes to work tearing off the front fiberglass on that chassis of the car, and this is going to cost them an awful lot of time. The crew try to get him back out there so he does not lose a lap, but I'm not sure if they're able to get him out. There's another car that was damaged in that incident, number 43, Robin Buck in the Pontiac.
Well, he's damaged that new Richard Petty paint job, Pat, but he doesn't look too bad off, and we'll be back with the restart at Delaware right after these messages.
Summertime fun, need refreshment. Yeah! Summertime fun, need refreshment.
Try delicious frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. Refreshing, thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends. McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. Just a clean, fresh-tasting flavor of McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. McCain, great-tasting refreshment down to a T.
An ordinary hamburger and your Banquet Burger Deluxe. Either is good depending on what you want, which brings us to Midas Mufflers. At Midas, they have top-quality Midas mufflers guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Or they have the Economizer at a very reasonable price and guaranteed for 1 full year. The point is, you get some choice in the menu, which is important. I like choice. I have one to make right now. I've made it. It's the way it should be. Midas.
Welcome back to the Mopar 200 and the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup. And after that first lap accident, number 7, Sean Dupuis, was put a lap down. The team is still discussing it, Pat.
Craig, the rule is that if the pace car reaches a certain point in turn 1, they close off pit road. And here on our Mopar replay, you can see that Sean was simply too late getting out. and he's really got a lot of work to do this afternoon as he has gone a lap down. The field has formed back up. Ron Beauchamp Jr. on the inside of the racetrack. Mathers, number 10 on the outside, as once again they'll get the green flag from Matt Lake into turn number 1. The Dodge Avenger of Ron Beauchamp Jr. jumps out in front. There's Mathers just sliding that car off of turn 2 as they work the back straightaway. And now the Midas bumper cam, as you saw the close racing about mid-pack in the field, off of turn number 4. Back to the stripe they'll come. Mathers takes a look on the inside, but Beauchamp will lead this lap as they move down the back chute. Just about half a car length separating Ron Beauchamp Jr., who I believe was one of the surprises of qualifying. He was the fast driver in time trials early until Mathers was able to turn that quick lap right at the end of the session. The two drivers battling for the lead early. In the third place spot is Earl Ross as we go on board now with Dan Shurtleff, the Sony Handicap, putting us right in the thick of this battle just inside the top 10 as he closes in on the 85 car going through on the inside, and he'll make the pass. Dan Shurtleff going around the 85 car of Dave Jacobs as those two drivers battle side by side into turn 1, and Shurtleff will take the position.
Well, Paul Mathers and Shurtleff both have been very smooth all weekend, and there's Mathers going for the front already, Pat.
Nice move by Paul Mathers as he was able to push the Ford through to the front on the inside of Ron Beauchamp Jr. So as they hit the stripe, it is number 10, Paul Mathers, in the Ford leading the 60 car of Ron Beauchamp Jr. And then in third is Earl Ross. Oh, big slide there by 0-2 Kerry Mix.
Well, let's have another look at that slide by Mix with our Mopar replay, Pat. You know, Mix has had some trouble this weekend. He's been chasing his car a little bit, and it just seems to be a little bit too loose for him right at this early stages in the race.
Well, here's an unscheduled pit stop for Kelly Williams after that brilliant run in time trials, and she started 10th on the grid. But this is going to put her a number of laps down as she sits on pit road. The leader, Mathers, back to the stripe, and here's a battle a little bit further back involving 17, DJ Kennington, and number 03, that is the veteran Jack Monahan, both in the Dodge Avengers as they battle side by side just behind the 25 car of Jim Lapsovich. Here's Kennington as you go on board with the young teenage driver battling with the veteran Monahan 03. In that Chrysler 5-star service Avenger as they work up across the start-finish line and back into turn 1. For the moment, Monahan will hold on to the spot. Here's 93, Alex Nagy Jr. taking a run at Kennington as they work the back chute. Nagy in the Monte Carlo pulling up alongside of the 17 car of Kennington, and he'll pick up the position. And also moving in there, you saw the 74 of Duke Sawchuk sporting that brand new Wagner Power Max sponsorship on his Grand Prix.
Well, we're on board with DJ Kennington there for a minute. You know, Pat, I'm impressed with the learning curve this young fella's taken this year. He's got to be a much smoother driver, and he's in there mixing it with the experienced guys.
Well, here's another great battle, Craig. The Midas bumper cam giving us this shot of the battle between 97, Rob Neely, and number 18, Pete Vanderweest. Oh, the two drivers contact as they ran into turn number 1. Neely, number 97, sideways. That car is really loose, and that may have been the problem off the start when he spun. He has managed to stay on the lead lap, but running just outside of the top 10. Here's your race leader, Paul Mathers, who's had a car that's been just dialed to this racetrack, and here's the battle for third now as you go on board with number 3, Dan Shurtleff in the Goodwrench Chevrolet Monte Carlo, right alongside of 92, Earl Ross in the Ford as they come off of turn 4 back to the stripe. It is Dan Shurtleff on the inside, and he'll take that third place position. Earl Ross runs fourth.
Well, Kerry Mix, as I said earlier, is a little loose at the moment, but he switched to a Thunderbird this year, and he's on a pretty steep learning curve. Here's his impressions.
This car here is totally different than what I'm used to. It's my car from last year is a Chevelle Clip car, different car builder. This year, you know, we've got Junior Hanley, which I'm real happy with. He's never built too many CASCARs before, and you know, he's one of the best in Canada, so we're real happy with that. He's been real busy building cars, so he hasn't had much time to spend with us right yet, but hopefully we can get him out and get some good practice in and get this car figured out.
Well, Junior Hanley, not only a great driver, but an outstanding car builder as well, and I think that Kerry Mix will benefit from the fact that he has Junior Hanley working on his program here in 1996. There's the 74 car of Duke Sawchuk into the pits. This will be an unscheduled pit stop. They're looking in the engine compartment, a suspected a small engine fire, but it looks like it has gone out. They may have a bit of a fuel leak or something there, Craig. They button down the hood. They'll get Sawchuk back out, but I believe he will lose a lap as they pitted under the green flag. Your race leader, number 10, Paul Mather's running out in front, just ahead of this battle for second between number 3, Dan Shurtleff, who may be the fastest car on the racetrack as he battles with the 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. for that second place position.
Well, there's battles going on all over this racetrack at the moment. Look at this battle for 5th, Pat. Jacobs has got Earl Ross locked on the outside, and it looks like he's fading back, and he's got Jim Lapsevich right on his tail. Jimmy just gets by on the inside, too, so Ross is fading.
Earl Ross sliding up the racetrack a little bit. That'll left the opening for Lapsevich, who slides through into that 6th place position. Jacobs in the 85 car running in 5th. There is Joe Lapsevich, Jim's father, watching as his son battles here for that 5th place position. They come up here on Robin Buck, number 43, side by side for 2nd place as we go on board with Dan Shurtleff. As they run down the back chute here at Delaware Speedway, they'll go around that STP Pontiac on the outside as Ron Beauchamp Jr. comes off of turn 4. There is Shurtleff as you ride on board with the Goodrich Monte Carlo driver back into turn 1. And just up ahead of these two cars that are battling for second, you see the 47 car of Sean Mangin. He has made the switch over to a Dodge Avenger for the 96 series, as now number 60, Ron Beauchamp Jr., trying to get around that 47 car of Sean Mangin as they hit the stripe. It is Shurtleff who will squeeze right in between Mangin and the 60 car of Beauchamp to take over that 2nd place position. And here comes Kerry Mix in that 02 Ford. He'll jump right into the thick of this battle for 2nd place, and he has moved around Beauchamp to take over the 3rd place position. So what a shuffle of the positions there we had with Mangin, number 47, right in the middle of that battle. But number 3, oh, big slide there by Mangin as he just about spins, but it is Shurtleff 2nd, 02, Kerry Mix up to 3rd.
And here are the standings with Mathers leading Shurtleff, Mix, Beauchamp Jr., Jacobs, Lapsevich, Monhad, Turner, Ross, and Nagy.
Earl Ross dropping back into that 9th place position after qualifying. Oh, we've got a spin, number 12, Mark Patrick has spun coming off of turn number 2. This may bring out yet another, and it does. Matt Lake with the caution flag out. There's part of the bodywork off of the car. And there is the number 7 car of Sean Dupuis as he continues to try to get back on the lead lap. The leader, number 10, Paul Mathers, has come into the pits. This will be his mandatory and scheduled pit stop as he checks in with the crew. It looks like only fuel for Mathers. They do not change any of the tires on that car. Number 92, Earl Ross, also into the pits as number 10, Mathers, is out.
Paul Mathers gets a fuel top-up on his mandatory pit stop, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Rotavision. Rotavision. It's compact, it's Rotavision. The revolutionary rotary storage unit. 24 handy, unbreakable plastic containers. Rotavision. Install it where you need it and how you need it. In the attic, the basement, the workshop, the garage. You never ever have to look for the tacks, the screws, the nicks, the knacks, and those whatchamacallit. Rotavision. Available at a great price at these fine stores.
Win your own plane to Atlanta this summer. A private Air Canada jet. For you and 39 of your friends. For a day-long party in Atlanta. The Go Canada Go contest. Fly Air Canada now to June 16th and look for entry forms in your newspaper. Go Canada Go with Air Canada.
An ordinary hamburger and your Banquet Burger Deluxe. Either is good depending on what you want, which brings us to Midas Mufflers. At Midas, they have top quality Midas mufflers guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Or they have the Economizer at a very reasonable price and guaranteed for 1 full year. The point is, you get some choice in the menu, which is important. I like choice. I have one to make right now. I've made it. It's the way it should be. Midas.
Keep your car in great shape. STP shape. An STP fuel injector cleaner helps keep it that way. It's easy. Just add it to your car's gas and drive your fuel injectors clean. Clean into
STP shape
with STP fuel injector cleaner. It's easy to keep your car looking great with STP Son of a Gun Protectant.
Shine, protect, keep your car looking great. Son of a gun helps keep your car in STP shape.
Son of a Gun.
Welcome back to the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup, and we're on lap 70 of this 200-lap Mopar event with another caution flag being brought out.
Well, this will allow a number of drivers to get work done on pit road. There's Junior Regan in the 27 cars. They changed the left rear tire. 03 Jack Monahan just behind the 42 of Steve Smith. Now, here's the reason for the latest caution. Into turn one, Jim Lapsovich smacks the wall.
Well, Jimmy was running real well, Pat, coming up from the 13th starting spot, the 4th during the last yellow. What happened is he got squeezed up into the wall just under the starter stand by Robin Bach, lost his front wheel, and consequently his brakes were gone. He just went straight into the wall with a big whack, but I think he's okay.
Back to the line, they'll get the green flag from Matt Lake into turn one. Oh, wide goes the 60 car of Ron Beauchamp Jr. That's going to cost him about 5 or 6 positions and shuffle the running order. It's number 3 in the Goodwrench Monte Carlo. Dan Shurtleff leading the 97 of Rob Neely. Pete Vanderweest in the 18 Interstate Batteries car runs up into that 3rd place position. In 4th is Alex Nagy Jr. and moving up into the 5th place position now will be number 10, Paul Mathers, who started on the pole position. Mathers has already made his mandatory pit stop. He should be able to go the rest of the way. And oh, big slide by number 97, Rob Neely. He was running in 2nd. That'll drop him back a couple of positions. Here's Mathers across the line, looking for the position into turn one. Yes, he'll get through on the inside of Rob Neely, Craig, who appears to have a very loose race car at the moment.
Well, Rob's been running good all weekend, Pat, but obviously he's got a little bit of handling problems right at the moment. I don't know whether his tires are going away or what.
Side by side, they ran off at turn 4, but it's Mathers who will take the spot. There's Vanderweest in 2nd. Nagy runs 3rd. Mathers all the way up into the 4th place spot.
Well, there's no doubt Mathers is quick, Pat, but so is Dan Shurtleff. He's running out front right now, and he's got his car dialed in real good.
But here comes Mathers. He's up to 3rd.
And there's the new order with Dan Shurtleff leading Vanderweest, Mathers, Nagy, and Neely. Then it's Sean McGlynn, Nix, Beauchamp Jr., Kennington, and Don Thompson Jr. And Pat, I think it would be fair to say the smoothest driver out there is Paul Mathers in the number 10 T-Bird. And here's what Paul had to say about that.
We've really come a long way over the winter. Like I say, we've done our homework. Everybody's matured. I have as a driver. The team, we've all got to know each other a little better. I'm just going to try to take it easy on equipment this year and make it to the end of the race. That's the key. You can be the fastest guy out here, but if you don't make it to the end, it really doesn't matter.
Well, Paul right now battling for 2nd place with Pete Vanderweest side by side as they roll through turn number 4. Look at Mathers right down at the bottom of the racetrack, and he will take over that 2nd place position. So it is Shurtleff leading in the Goodwrench Monte Carlo. Mathers on a charge as he continues to come to the front. Remember, Mathers has already made his mandatory pit stop. He can go right to the checkered flag from here. Shurtleff must come onto pit road. He'll be hoping for a caution period coming up as crew chief Tim Ellis looks on, timing each of the laps of his driver. And now this front running battle of 3. There is Mathers right on the inside as they run the back chute here at Delaware. And Mathers will take the lead as he just blows by the Monte Carlo going into turn number 3. He has really got this car hooked up, Craig. He seems to be able to go anywhere on that racetrack, the low groove, the high groove, and he's just been carving his way through traffic and back out in front.
Well, Paul had a lot of problems with not finishing races last year, Pat. I can only hope for him that he just keeps the thing running the way it is at the moment.
Interesting to hear that interview, and here's the problem now with number 18, Pete Vanderweest. He is slowing, and Vanderweest will bring that Interstate Batteries Monte Carlo onto pit road. He's got a problem.
Well, his problem's pretty serious, Pat, because look at, he's slowed way down on that back straight. Whatever it is, it looks like he's finished for the day.
Well, part of the great crowd here at Delaware Speedway watching this battle here for the 3rd place position between Alex Nagy Jr., number 93, and up on the high side, the 02, Kerry Mix, who was really loose on the racetrack. It looks like they've been able to correct some of the oversteer problem on that car, but he has run past Alex Nagy to take over 3rd.
And there's the STP halfway update at lap 100, and a cash voucher from STP will go to Paul Mathers, currently in first. And if Paul goes on to win, he'll also receive a $500 bonus from STP. We haven't indicated it yet, Pat, but some drivers are several laps down. Here's Todd Lewis.
Right, Rob looks like he has a tire going down on the Dodge Avenger. What are you going to do?
It's got the left front's been going down for about 30 laps now. We're going to hold out as long as we can and change it, hopefully in the caution. If not, we're going to have to bring it under green.
And here's a great shot from under Neely's Avenger, and it gives you an idea of just how limited the travel of the rear suspension is. And you know, Pat, with the left front on its way down, although you can still drive the car, it makes it pretty hard to control. And Neely will be lucky to be able to hold on to another caution period in this race.
There is Rob Neely as we look at, big spin here by number 27, Junior Regan. He collects 35. Brad Jakes into the wall. And Craig, you talked about racing luck. I think Rob Neely was just dished out some as we go on board here. The Mopar replay, you're with Junior Regan as he loops the car around. He collects Brad Jakes. He is into the wall. And it looks like Jakes will be through for the afternoon. Junior Regan will continue, but Brad Jakes has run into some tough luck. For Rob Neely, it is good luck. Under yellow, he'll be able to come in here and change that left front tire.
Well, it looks like Brad Jakes' luck just continues to be bad in 1996 also, Pat.
Well, here's Dan Shurtleff. He's going to change a right rear tire on the Goodrich Monte Carlo as he pits here under yellow. He should be able to stay on the lead lap. Shurtleff has had a great run here after qualifying ninth.
And it looks like Junior Regan has more than minor problems. He's taken the Dodge into the paddock, and we'll be back with more right after this.
This sports break is brought to you by Midas, the way it should be.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our TSN newsroom. I'm Gino Letta. Third round action continued at the French Open today. Feature match of the day, the number 4 seed Michael Chang facing former world number 1 Stefan Edberg. Edberg playing his final French Open. He'll retire at the end of the season. The last time he faced Chang at Roland Garros, the 1989 final, Chang won that. Chang comes out strong in this match. He counters Edberg's net game. Great cross-court passing shot. Chang takes the first set 6-4. But after that, it is all Stefan Edberg. The 30-year-old Swede upsets the 4th seed at this tournament, taking the next 3 sets, avenging his 89 loss, 4-6, 7-5, 6-love, 7-6, 7-1, and a tiebreak. A reminder, baseball fans, it's the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals coming up later this afternoon live right here on TSN, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific.
An ordinary hamburger and your Banquet Burger Deluxe. Either is good depending on what you want, which brings us to Midas Mufflers. At Midas, they have top quality Midas mufflers guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Or they have the Economizer at a very reasonable price and guaranteed for 1 full year. The point is, you get some choice in the menu, which is important. I like choice. I have one to make right now. I've made it. It's the way it should be. Midas.
Carbon monoxide isn't the only thing coming from your tailpipe, because with every stroke of your engine, motor oil is being vaporized into exhaust, leaving less and less protection. That's why there's Castrol GTX 10W30. Of every leading 10W30, Castrol provides the most protection against volatility burn-off. So use Castrol, or watch more protection go up in smoke. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown.
Castrol GTX. Ask for it by name at your favorite outlet. There's one name these drivers turn to for the quality parts that give their vehicles the edge they need to perform and win. The same name you should turn to for the only parts guaranteed to perform in your Chrysler vehicle. Authentic Mopar parts. Available from your Chrysler Canada dealer. Get real. Get Mopar.
Get revved with the explosive Players IndyCar World Series. This time around, Man and Machine will push it to the limit in Wisconsin at the Milwaukee Mile. The Players IndyCar World Series. Gear up for it Sunday on TSN.
Get down! Come on, hit me! Checking the scores, half the teams won, the other half lost. I've been great, you gotta go. Take care, bye-bye.
Must watch baseball game.
We're back with the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup as number 10, Paul Mathers, leads the field into turn 4.
While the lead lap cars on the outside, lap cars down to the bottom of the racetrack as they get the green flag from Matt Lake into turn 1. Earl Ross in the red 92 will get back one of those laps, at least for the moment. Paul Mathers, number 10, your leader in that white Ford, down the back straightaway. Number 7, Sean Dupuis, also running a lap down as he desperately tries to get around Mathers. There is the 02 car of Kerry Mix running in second. It is DJ Kennington in the Castrol Dodge Avenger running in the third place spot. Now, our Midas bumper cam giving us this great shot of the battle between the 03 of Jack Monahan as he battles here with the 27 car of Junior Regan, but Junior back out after visiting the paddock, but he is many, many laps down as number 10 now back out in front is Paul Mathers. So once again, the 92 car of Earl Ross will go at least one lap down. Your race leader, Paul Mathers, off of turn number 2 as he works the back straightaway here at Delaware Speedway. He was quick in the time trial, started on the pole position, has run up front for much of the day, although he did drop back in the top 10 when he made an early pit stop, but he has been able to charge back up to the front, and right now is the fastest driver on the racetrack. There you see the 02 of Kerry Mix, followed by 17 DJ Kennington, and now you go on board with Jack Monahan in the 03.
Well, you can see Jack doing some left foot braking there, and here's Monahan with his impressions of his new car.
Yeah, it's a good deal. It's been back with Ron again, and we're looking to have a good time with us this year, we hope. And it's a whole new car right now, my car in particular, and we're struggling with it a little bit, but we've got we're making some changes, and hopefully for the better, and we're starting to learn a couple. This is really our first test session, which is for under race conditions kind of thing. So it's we'll have a little homework to do on it, but hopefully we'll get it before the day's out or before the next race even.
Well, Jack's one of the best at setting up a race car, and although he didn't race much last year, he helped Duke Sawchuk a lot with his program, but this year he's working with the Beauchamps. He'll do a good job before the year's out.
Well, another driver doing a good job here is DJ Kennington. He runs in the third place position in that Castrol Dodge Avenger, closing on the 02 Quality Care Ford of Kerry Mix. And Mix now trying to get around the lap car of Sean Dupuis, the defending national and Eastern champion. And Mix is really having his problems getting around Dupuis, who is going surprisingly fast, considering he's lost all of the front fiberglass on that Monte Carlo as they battle off of the turn here. It is the 17 of DJ Kennington right on the rear bumper of Mix, and they'll both try to go around the outside of Dupuis' car as they come off of turn to number 4, and right behind the 17 of Kennington is 55 Neil Fair in the Midas Monte Carlo. That's a great three-way battle.
Well, I'm impressed with 18-year-old DJ Kennington. He's really matured as a race driver this year with backing of his father, Doug. They now have 2 race cars, and Pat, in this business, that's a great luxury.
Craig, I think having the 2 race cars will help his program this year. In fact, he's been running just about all of the regular Friday night CASCAR late model events here at Delaware Speedway in preparation for this Eastern Super Series opener, and he's doing a great job here battling side by side with Sean Dupuis, and then right on his bumper is the 55 car of Neil Fair, that Midas Monte Carlo. But Kennington talked to us earlier this weekend, said the experience of running at Charlotte Motor Speedway at 180 miles an hour taught him that he had to be smooth, and he hoped to take that lesson to the CASCAR Series this year. You saw for a moment there on board with Sean Dupuis.
Well, quality seat time's good for everybody, but Todd Lewis has caught up with Doug Kennington in the pits.
Doug, DJ's having a great day in the Dodge Avenger. How's he doing it?
Well, the car's working good. He's a little loose, wants it tightened up, but we can't do anything right now.
Well, what they need is to get into the pits and turn a couple of turns on the right rear corner there and make the car push a little bit going into the corners path.
Well, here's a problem for number 16, Craig. Al Turner, who had qualified in 11th, has worked his way up into 6th. But now we see some smoke coming from that Monte Carlo. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come on a pit road. There's Al Turner, number 16, and he gets real wide here.
And there's another disabled car, Don Thompson Jr. And while we're under this Yellow, let's check in with Pat and the CASCAR timeout.
In the CASCAR Super Series, there's more to winning a championship than simply crossing the finish line first. As a matter of fact, last year's CASCAR National and Eastern champion, number 7, Sean Dupuis, won only 2 races, but he was very consistent, running in the top 5 at almost every event. And when he did, not only did Sean Dupuis take the lion's share of the some $130,000 points fund, but he also won one of these beautiful $40,000 Dodge Ram Diesel Club Cab dualies, part of the Mopar Parts Chrysler Canada National Awards package. For 1996, Mopar, along with Castrol, STP, General Motors, and other Super Series sponsors, have posted almost $1 million in awards, the richest payout in CASCAR history. Many are predicting an extremely close points battle for the championship, and the driver who can discover the keys to winning will receive this key to a brand new Dodge Ram dually.
And we'll be back with the restart at Delaware after this.
An ordinary hamburger and your Banquet Burger Deluxe. Either is good depending on what you want, which brings us to Midas Mufflers. At Midas, they have top quality Midas mufflers guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Or they have the Economizer at a very reasonable price and guaranteed for 1 full year. The point is, you get some choice in the menu, which is important. I like choice. I have one to make right now. I've made it. It's the way it should be. Midas.
There's one name these drivers turn to for the quality parts that give their vehicles the edge they need to perform and win. The same name you should turn to for the only parts guaranteed to perform in your Chrysler vehicle. Authentic Mopar parts. Available from your Chrysler Canada dealer. Get real. Get Mopar.
Just how long does a car battery last? About this much time is put into most batteries. But AC Delco puts in more time, so our batteries last over 20% longer. Well, now there's the new Delco Freedom 84, our longest lasting battery ever. We put in 7 years of guaranteed starts, making it the granddaddy of all batteries.
Hey, my watch!
An athlete's dream begins on the playing field. First you learn, then comes the practice, the game. You become the hero of your streets, your town, your country. The dreams of representing one's country at the greatest gathering of athletes becomes reality for some of Canada's finest young soccer stars. CONCACAF Olympic Qualifying Soccer, here on TSN.
Welcome back to the Mopar 200 and the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup. I'm Craig Hill along with Pat Gonzalez and Todd Lewis, and we have another restart, Pat.
And as we go back to green, Paul Mather's number 10 has fallen behind the 7 car there of Sean Dupuis. That means momentarily Dupuis has moved back onto the lead lap. He's been struggling all day to get back on that lead lap as we go side by side for the lead. Going inside of Mather's was the 02 Quality Care Ford of Kerry Mix as he goes to the front for the first time here this afternoon. Kerry Mix, 02, leading the 10 car of Paul Mathers. Oh, as they battle down the back straightaway, Mathers getting a little bit sideways. He'll look on the inside of Mix. And all the time, they continue to run just in back of number 7, Sean Dupuis, who may be getting in the way of this lead battle. Back into turn number 1. It is Mix in that 02 Ford leading the number 10 car of Mathers.
And there's the Mopar 200 standings with Mix grabbing the lead from Mathers. He's followed by Kennington, Fair, and Monahan. Then in 6th, it's Alex Nagy with Neely, Shirtliff, and John Gaunt. Now, John's moved up to 9th along with McGlynn, and Gaunt is running his own team this year with some help from brother Marty, who many of you CASCAR fans will remember as Peter Gibbons' crew chief. Gibbons is currently putting together a program, and he's racing in the Busch Series in the U.S. this year.
Well, here's DJ Kennington, who continues to run in that 3rd place position, but he's got his hands full with number 27, Junior Regan, as he tries to get up front there and run with the likes of Mix and Mathers. and 27, Junior Regan. It's been a disappointing afternoon for him and Peter Shatanis as we look at this battle for the lead between 0-2 Kerry Mix and number 10 Mathers. Are side by side off of turn 4. Oh, Mathers right into the side of Mix as the two drivers touch coming on to the start-finish straight, and Mathers will take the lead going into turn 1. Number 7, Sean Dupuis, will jump right into the middle of that lead battle as he tries to somehow get back his lap, but it is Mathers, your leader, Dupuis running a lap down. Then it is 0-2 Kerry Mix in second, and now DJ Kennington right behind Kerry Mix as they hit the stripe. Kennington turning in a superb drive here in that third place position. 55, Neil Fair in the Midas Monte Carlo runs in the fourth place spot. So this is shaping up to be a war for the second place position as Mathers continues to sprint away out front in that white Ford Thunderbird. He has been so quick here all afternoon at Delaware. Back to the stripe, Mix, Kennington, and then it is the veteran Neil Fair, number 55, followed by Alex Nagy Jr., number 93, who's having a pretty good run here as well. You go on board with DJ Kennington as, again, they're having problems here with that number 7 car of Sean Dupuis. Remember, Dupuis is somehow trying to get back on that lead lap and hope for the caution flag, but he is sitting right in the middle of this battle going on between Mix and number 17, DJ Kennington of that Castrol Dodge Avenger. Now here comes Neil Fair on the inside of Kennington. He will take over the third place spot with a nice pass up into the third place position.
Well, there's all sorts of racing going on here today, Pat. There's a big race between Monahan and Nagy for fifth spot just behind these two.
And look at this battle between DJ Kennington and Neil Fair, and Fair will squeeze through on the inside to grab that third place position as they both go around the 7 car of Sean Dupuis. So Neil Fair, who has been steadily working his way to the front, comes off turn 4 with the third place position in hand. 17, DJ Kennington running back and forth. Jack Monahan in the 0-3 Chrysler 5-star service Dodge Avenger runs in the 5th place position. There is the 23 car of Jesse Kennedy, and number 16. It looks like this may be it for Al Turner as he brings the Monte Carlo into the pits. Some other good racing further back. The battle between Rob Neely, number 97, and the 3 car of Dan Shurtleff. That should be the race for the 8th place position as those two drivers try to move on up. Neely has been plagued by that first lap spin in turn 1. Then the flat left front tire. Shurtleff has made his mandatory stop, and he continues to charge up. Here's the 0-6 of John Gaunt. He is on pit road, and looks like they've got a problem with that car after Gaunt had worked his way up into the top 10, but problems now for John Gaunt. It'll be a lengthy pit stop, Craig, and I think they had a bit of a problem with that servicing of the car.
Well, it looks like John wanted to get going a bit early there, and there's number 27, Junior Regan. He's had nothing but problems since the start. Here's Todd with crew chief Peter Shatanis.
Peter, tell us what's been happening with Junior in the car.
We got a black flag because we thought we had an oil leak, but I understand it was for another reasons. So we didn't come in to take the black flag. We went to the trailer to fix the oil leak, come back out, got another black flag, and a big confusion, and that's why we're down so far.
Well, the team's been struggling with that car all weekend long. They finally decided to go back to last year's setting as we look at the leader, number 10, Paul Mathers, getting around 31, Kelly Williams, and she will go yet another lap down. Kelly running about 15 laps down at the moment. There's 75, Mike Herniak. He has also been plagued by problems with the STP Pontiac.
Well, as a matter of fact, Pat, we're showing only 11 cars on the lead lap right now.
And the driver at the head of that group of 11 is number 10, Paul Mathers in the Ford Thunderbird.
Well, here we've got a CASCAR update at the first race of the Western CASCAR Series that was completed today. It's Steve Jefferson, the winner. Al Grandy from Prince George was second, and Kevin Hampton third. And you know, it's interesting to note that the guy that won most of the Western events in '95, Wade Lee, he could only salvage ninth. That event was rained out yesterday and was run today in Prince George, BC, Pat.
The battle for second, back to the line, 0-2, Kerry Mix leading. Here's 55, Neil Fair up on the outside, and Fair will take over that second place position. Now here's DJ Kennington. He is all over Kerry Mix. for the third place position, and he'll go around on the outside as Kennington moves up into that third place position. The driver's off of turn 4. It is Mathers leading, 55 fair in second. Third is DJ Kennington, and here's the battle for fourth now as 03 Speedy Jack Monahan will take over that fourth place position.
Well, Kerry desperately needs a yellow right now. It looks like he's in big trouble.
There's the running order. Mathers, Fair, Kennington, Monahan, Nagy, Mix all the way to 6th. Shurtleff, Neely, McGlynn, and Ron Beauchamp in the Dodge Avenger sitting back in that 10th place position. They just continue to shuffle the running order, but Mathers has been the dominant driver so far here this afternoon. And oh, there's the 16 car again. More problems for Al Turner. That Monte Carlo is really smoking, and it looks like he is going to head for pit road as Al Turner's been battling problems with that car all afternoon. And there's another driver with problems, the number 6 car of Don Malat. They've got the hood up on the car, and this may be it for the driver of car number 6. There's Al Turner. Yes, it looks as though they're going to close the office for the afternoon. The Barrie, Ontario driver is out of the car, and they'll have to park it. Your race leader, number 10, Paul Mathers, will move around the 06 of John Gunn as he will put him a lap down, and Mathers continues to run up at the front. He continues to lap this Delaware Speedway banked oval in near track record time as he comes off at turn number 4. They've really had that car hooked up.
Well, look at the lead he's got over Neil Fair at the moment, Pat. And you know, he's been able to handle the lap traffic better than anybody else. He seems to be able to get out in front of him and pick up that lead again and run away at will.
While Mathers does continue to run away up front, here's DJ Kennington in that Castrol Dodge Avenger, running for the moment at least all by himself in the third place position as he moves around some of the lap cars. And there is a problem with 27, Junior Regan.
Well, let's check that out again with the Mopar replay, Pat. And Junior just flat loses it in corner 2, and that's a pretty good ride. I think it's the third time that he's done a 360 today.
While we stay green here at Delaware Speedway as number 02, Kerry Mix, is in the pits just behind him. Junior Regan, he has brought the Dodge Avenger onto pit road as well. Now the Mix crew having problems getting the jack onto the right side of the car. It looks like they'll go to the right rear and put a new McCreary tire on that car. There you can see some of the rubber sprayed on the right quarter panel as they get that tire buttoned down, and away goes Mix. But having made that pit stop under green, I think he'll lose a lap as there. Yes, Mathers goes by, so Mix now will go a lap down. The 17 car of DJ Kennington also coming on to pit road under green, and he also has a problem with the right rear tire. So the hard racing and the tough pace out here at Delaware, Craig, there's another one of our top runners running into problems here with the tires.
Well, what a tough break for young Kennington, Pat. He was running real good, but his crew seemed to know about it because they're ready to look after him, and that's going to put him down a lap for sure.
Well, tough break for Kennington, who had turned in a brilliant drive, still trying to get that wheel on, and he'll definitely lose that lap. There's your race leader, number 10, Paul Mathers into 4. Oh, we've got a problem off of turn 2. Number 97, Rob Neely involved, also the 93 of Alex Nagy.
Well, Nagy looks like he spins on his own, and then our wall cam shows that number 8, McGlynn, nudges 97, Neely. So with that, we're going to take a break. And you're watching the CASCAR Super Series for the Castrol Cup from Delaware.
Dale Earnhardt is the NASCAR Winston Cup champion for the 7th time. It takes a team of professionals, fast and reliable, to keep Dale winning. That's why you should take your car to Goodwrench Service Plus. GM technicians, the people who know your GM car best, do a lube, oil, and filter in 29 minutes, or the next one's free. And you can take that to the winner's circle. Goodwrench Service Plus.
Carbon monoxide isn't the only thing coming from your tailpipe, because with every stroke of your engine, motor oil is being vaporized into exhaust, leaving less and less protection. That's why there's Castrol GTX 10W30. Of every leading 10W30, Castrol provides the most protection against volatility burn-off. So use Castrol, or watch more protection go up in smoke. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown.
Castrol GTX. Ask for it by name at your favorite outlet.
We're back at Delaware Speedway with the final laps of the Mopar 200.
The Sebring pace car on pit road. There's the green flag once again from Matt Lake, and once again it is Paul Mathers in that white number 10 Ford Thunderbird who grabs the lead. Oh, problems here with Neil Fair in the Midas Monte Carlo. He has slowed. Fair has got problems as he's cruising on the back straightaway. That'll move 0-3. Speedy Jack Monahan up in a second, and right on his bumper is Dan Shurtleff in that black number 3 Goodrich Monte Carlo. Mathers back into turn 1, continuing to stretch it out here. The battle for second will be between the 0-3 and the 3 as Shurtleff gets a little bit wide there going off of turn 2. And here is Fair 55. He will loop the car around. And Craig, I think he may have a tire going down.
Well, he could have cut a tire too, Pat. It's been happening all day. And with that 7th caution flag here today, there are the standings, and Paul Mathers continues to lead as he's done most of the day.
There's the rest of the rundown. Neil Fair still being shown in 7th. Bill Daniels, Dupuis, Kennington, Ross, and Nagy as part of the great crowd here at Delaware looking on. And there is Neil Fair. He has brought the Midas Monte Carlo onto pit road, and it looks like they'll go to the right front of the car, and they'll make some repairs. So whatever the problem is that has forced Neil Fair out of here, the crew working to try to get him back out here and stay on the lead lap as the field continues to roll here on the Speedway under the yellow caution flag. There's your race leader, number 10, Paul Mathers. Beside him, Sean Dupuis, who continues to run a lap down. Dupuis has been trying to get that lap back all afternoon. As Matt Lake shows him the white flag, that means the next time around they'll get the green.
And there's that great-looking Sebring convertible pace car. And I think that we've got the full head office from Chrysler Windsor here today. From Rick Williams to Lou Langlois to Roy Westlake and Doug Morgan are all on hand for this Mopar 200.
And they've seen a great race here this afternoon at Delaware Speedway. Paul Mathers, your leader. Here's the battle for second between the 0-3. Oh, Jack Monahan hits the wall coming off of turn number 2, and that'll put Dan Shurtleff in the 3 Goodrich Monte Carlo up into that second place position. Here's the Mopar replay as Monahan runs wide, tags the wall, and a great shot of that action from our Sony Handycam on the wall of the back straightaway. The leader, number 10, Paul Mathers, closing on the 7 of Sean Dupuis. Remember, Dupuis now has moved on to the lead lap and is running just ahead of the race leader, number 10, Paul Mathers. It has been a struggle all afternoon for Sean Dupuis as Mathers tries to once again put him a lap down. And of course, Dupuis just hoping for a caution late in this race so he can get back on that lead lap and close up on the cars running on the lead lap. And right now it is Mathers just ahead of the battle for second place between Shurtleff and Monahan.
Well, it's been a disappointing day for Sean Dupuis. I asked him earlier about carrying on as the national champion. Here's what he had to say.
That was last year. We're going to take this as a whole new year. We're going to build on what we learned last year, and hopefully we'll be better through the race here today.
Well, there's your race leader, Paul Mathers, as side by side goes DJ Kennington and Dan Shurtleff. But remember, Kennington is running a lap down. Shurtleff in the second place position as he tries to close in on that front-running Ford. The 0-3 Dodge Avenger of Speedy Jack Monahan, the veteran driver, has turned a marvelous run here. He runs in the third place position. 97 Rob Neely has worked his way back up to 4th, and Sean McGlynn in that red number 8 car runs back in the 5th place spot.
Well, Neely's a driver that hit a lucky combination on that caution flag, Pat. He was able to get in and get that tire changed. And Neely's another driver that's had to adjust to a new motor and chassis combination with the Avenger. Here's what he had to say about that.
Well, there's quite a bit of difference. There's definitely a lot more power. Other than that, there's really not much difference in the car itself. The chassis is about the same, but the power is just unreal. Like we've only got about 10 laps before we did that qualifying time, and the car's hooked up for a couple laps, but we just got to work on it and make it work for the whole race.
Well, it looks to me that they were in good shape to start this race, qualifying second and staying in the top 10 for most of the 200 laps.
You're looking at the second place driver, number 3, Dan Shurtleff in that black Goodwrench Monte Carlo. Up front, it continues to be Paul Mathers in the Ford Thunderbird. He has been so dominant here at Delaware this afternoon, and once again he has put Sean Dupuis a lap down. There you see the running order. Monahan, Neely in 4th, McGlynn having a great drive in 5th. Ron Beauchamp Jr., Neil Fair continues to hold on to 7th after visiting pit road a few laps ago, and Alex Nagy Jr. running back in the 8th place spot. Dan Shurtleff, car number 3, the 03 of Jack Monahan. That Dodge Avenger comes off of turn 4 as Monahan tries to close in on the Monte Carlo of Dan Shurtleff. But right now, Shurtleff has got a lot of ground to make up on Mathers, who is about 15 car lengths up in front. And look at this battle going on for 4th and 5th. Rob Neely in the Dodge Avenger, number 8, Sean McGlynn, one of the great young drivers in the CASCAR Eastern Series. McGlynn with not a whole lot of sponsorship, but boy, has he got a lot of talent. Again, he qualified back in 22nd position, has run all the way up into the 5th place spot as the young driver out of Hamilton continues to pressure Rob Neely for that 4th place position as they run up into turn 3. The leader, Mathers, back to the line as the laps wind down here, and all of a sudden there's Dan Shurtleff. He is closing on Paul Mathers, and Mathers' lap times here have definitely slowed. You can see the concern from a couple of his crew members on pit road. Jack Monahan in the 03 and 3rd. Here's that battle going on for 4th, 5th, and up into 6th is Ron Beauchamp Jr. He has made it a 3-way battle for the 4th place spot. Mathers has number 3, Shurtleff, right on his rear bumper as Shurtleff continues to reel in that white Ford number 10. Dan Shurtleff takes a look up as they ran it up in a turn up. It'll be just a couple of laps to go. Shurtleff trying to get around this front-running Ford, and now we come on board. Dan Shurtleff right there. They'll go around the 92 car of Earl Ross to put him yet another lap down. And it's a question now, can Mathers hold on here for a little over a lap to go as they come to the stripe? There's the white flag from Matt Lake. Paul Mathers in at turn number 1. They'll move around the 47 car of Sean Mangin. The 17 of DJ Kennington also running a lap down, back on the back straightaway for the final time. Shurtleff takes a look on the inside and at turn number 3. Mathers shuts the door. 1 corner to go. Checkered flag out of the line. Here comes Mathers. He brings the Ford to the stripe. He will win it. Shurtleff right behind in second. And the Mathers crew jumping for joy along pit road.
And what a great job by the winner, Paul Mathers, as he manages to hold off a very determined Dan Shurtleff with Monahan in 3rd, followed by McGlynn, Beauchamp, Neely. Then it's Neil Fair, Dupuis, Kennington, Nagy, Daniels, and Earl Ross. And here's Pat with the Mopar 200 winner.
Great drive, Paul. What about those closing laps? Did you think you were going to be able to hold off Dan? Because he closed up in a hurry with a couple of laps to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't sure, to tell you the truth. What I was more concerned about was taking it easy on my motor. It let go at the 5 lap sign. Something spun in the bearing or something's bad in the motor. It started vibrating real bad. But it got us through to the end. That's great.
Dan, it's okay. I know you're just relaxing a little bit. Tell me how it was out there.
Oh, it was a real tough race today. A lot of good cars, a lot of lead lap cars, not giving us too much room. I had to work my heart out. I got a header leak in this car. It's kind of took the wind away from me. I'll have to get some better ventilation in it for the next one.
Jack Monahan, a little bit old, a little bit new, but Team Mopar does well 3rd place.
Yeah, we did. I was hoping to catch a second there, but things didn't work out that way, so I kind of got run a little high in the corner there, and I got into marbles, and that was the end of that. So hard to come back from that with only those many laps left, Plus the track was getting pretty greasy too, Well,
you'll take a 3rd place. You'll look for the 1st place finish in the upcoming race, maybe at Cayuga.
Yep, wherever.
And there's the Midas National point standings, combining the Eastern and Western drivers, with Paul Mathers 2 points ahead of BC racer Steve Jefferson, and Dan Shurtleff keeping in touch with the points leaders. And it looks like it's going to be a close race for the national championship.
Well, Craig Hill, a great drive for Paul Mathers, but we saw some great competition in that parity we talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah, early in the show, Pat, we talked about a level playing field for the manufacturers, but we also talked about racing luck. And boy, we saw a lot of that today, both good and bad. But my congratulations to Paul Mathers. He's been knocking on the door for a long time, Pat.
Well, all of the big three on the podium here this afternoon at Delaware, Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors products. It's been a great day of racing here at Delaware Speedway. Our next event comes to you from St. Eustache, Quebec. That'll be the second of our televised shows. For Craig Hill and our entire crew, I'm Pat Gonzalez saying so long from Delaware Speedway.
The Mopar 200 has been brought to you in part by Castrol, manufacturers of GTX. Mopar Performance Parts, your first choice, and Chrysler 5-star service. STP helps keep your car in STP shape. GM Goodwrench Service Plus and AC Delco. This event is sanctioned by CASCAR, Canadian Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Clothing supplied by Chaco Motorsports Apparel. This is TSN.